We are live. We are all so direct. She leads, she sells with Laurie James, who helps women to navigate if they've been in a divorce or left a long-term relationship standing on the edge of uncertainty, exhaustion, wondering what is happening next. Laurie specializes in using somatic practices and the nervous system to help create and attract new relationships and a new life, stepping into new paradigms. Coming straight out of Manhattan Beach, California, we have the pleasure of welcoming to She Leads, She Sells, Laurie James. Speak to me, sister.
Thank you, Jay, so much for that wonderful introduction and for having me on your podcast. Uh, yes. And as so many of your listeners probably know, many of us get pulled into a direction based off of our own experiences. So I ended up going through a very difficult divorce. After 26 years of marriage, raising 4 daughters, I was caring for my elderly parents for, at that time, it was 11 years, but in total, it was 14 and a half years that I oversaw their care. Not everyday care, but overseeing caregivers, medical appointments, financials, all of that for my parents. And then through this 8-year period of time in my life, my marriage began to fall apart, which is, I wrote a book about it titled Sandwich for the Sandwich Generation. And it's a story about parenting. It's a story about family. It's a story about my adoption, which I'm also adopted. But it's really, the through thread is feeling very alone for most of my life and how I found belonging. And at the end of that marriage, I ended up falling very, very ill. I ended up in the hospital twice. Within 2 weeks, the doctors could not figure out how to diagnose what I was experiencing. They ran every test and never found a diagnosis. And that's when I went to go see this therapist and somatic experiencing practitioner that a therapist friend of mine referred me to. And the amount of healing that happened within that first year of working with him was so profound. I ended up getting certified in the 3-year program as well.
Amazing. So what was the somatic practices able to do? Was it able to maybe clear blocks or negative
So
feelings and emotions, or?
So that's a little bit more like energy work. This is all based in the physical body and the physiology of the body and the nervous system. So people get confused, and there's a lot of people using this word somatic and nervous system regulation without using it properly. Somatic is derived from the Greek word soma, meaning body. So in somatic experiencing and somatic practices, yes, we do pull in some work from ancient healing techniques in terms of practices, but so much of it is body experiencing what's happening in the body in the moment. So if you all of a sudden get a restriction in your chest, that is typically signaling something feels scary. And so we try to move away from that. And in order to process that and discharge that energy that we're feeling and experiencing, which is in the vagus nerve, which is part of the autonomic nervous system, when we can spend time with that and befriend that experience, then that helps us discharge that energy that we're experiencing in the body, so that way we don't stay stuck. Because if we stay in that state, then that's where we end up getting stuck and we can't make decisions, whether it's how to move forward with our divorce or career or making a decision for your family or business for that matter.
Well said. Thank you for sharing. What
Yeah.
results do you get your clients? Well, I'm interested. Where were they before? Where are they after working with Laurie James?
So the goal is to teach somebody capacity. So many people now, especially in the energy world and the yoga world, they're using this word somatic and people associate the word with calm. So many of us in our day-to-day lives live and in a heightened sympathetic state. That just means that we're on the go, we're overachievers, we're trying to get 20 things done, checked off our to-do list, whether it's a work or career or home, kids stuff, trying to hold it all together. And we have so much information now being thrown at us through social media, through emails, through texts, that can overstimulate our nervous system.
Mhm.
So the goal is to slow down and teach people how to be present with what they're experiencing right now. So that way, then they can make the proper decisions for themselves and make small steps. They become more attuned to what they need, not what society wants them to do or what their family wants them to do, but what is it in this moment that I need right now, right? And so many of my clients come to me because they are so burned out that they end up having health issues. So it's slowly teaching them to build that relationship with their body, process what they're experiencing, allow what's happening in the body to emerge so we can experience, express, and expel it, which then discharges that. So that way, then we can start making decisions that will help them move forward to the life that they desire.
Like the way you've broken that down.
Thank you.
I don't believe in experts in 2026. I believe in visible experts, because if you're the best kept secret, nobody knows about you, you can't share your gift. How are you getting visible in 2026 so people know?
How how do you get visible?
How are you getting visible specifically?
How am I getting visible? Thank you.
Mm,
So coming on and saying yes to having a conversation with Jay about the work that I do. I have a podcast myself that I
nice.
share. Um, I have guests on, but I also share somatic healing techniques and how to get unstuck. I cover topics like divorce, health and wellness, dating, a variety of other topics. Um, I'm on social media, on Instagram and Facebook, more so on social media. And then I have recently started putting out um, somatic meditations and
Hmm.
practices on a international app called Insight Timer.
Yes. Okay. Brilliant.
And just to say that didn't happen all overnight. This has been a slow process, and this is one thing I think, people hear that and they're like, "Wow, that feels like a lot. That feels like too much." And then they get overwhelmed and maybe shut down. This is something that I have built over the last 5 years slowly, and that's where the success comes from, and that helps to rewire the nervous system to say, "This is safe if I do it in small baby steps, tolerable steps," whatever words you want to put to that.
I like that. I like your contribution, your publishing, that you're,
Thank you.
yeah, that you're going deep in your practice. You're not going shallow, you're going deep.
Well, that's where the real healing happens, right? I
Mm.
mean, we have to really understand how our past experiences are dictating our choices in the moment today because we adapt to our environment, and sometimes some of those adaptations that we use to survive our childhood if we had a difficult childhood like I did, we can bring those into our adult relationships, into the workforce, and how we move through the world. And those can shrink your world very, very quickly if you're not careful. So the goal is, how do we build a little bit more capacity without overwhelming the nervous system so we shut down? And we want to do it very slowly in manageable, tolerable ways.
This is She Leads, She Sells. Let me know, how do you sell your program? Because do you have got 3-month containers, or how's it working in terms of your packages?
So I primarily right now am working with clients one-on-one. In 2027, I will be offering more of a group
Nice.
program, but it's online, but it will be live.
Mm-hmm.
I also have a very small introductory 3-series video of it's a nervous system starter kit to really understand and get to know the nervous system. So those are the ways that I sell my product and it's really me that I'm selling. And I also guest on other people's podcasts. I do some writing. I'm getting back into writing again, so I'm doing some writing on Substack. So those are the ways that I continue to get the message out, share what's worked for me and what's working for my clients. And it's all about just continuing to be consistent and putting yourself out there, and also giving yourself breaks when you need to.
Amazing. When it's all said and done, how would you like to be remembered, Laurie?
That's such a great question, Jay. I don't know that I've ever had anybody ask me that question. How do I want to be remembered? I want to be remembered as someone who was unapologetically herself, and she wasn't afraid to do some of the hard things. She wasn't afraid to fail, and to not look at failure as failure, but just as going down the wrong road and I hit a dead end, but somebody who really lived. If you have coaches on here, my core values are making a difference, adventure, and joy.
Yes.
So as long as I am focused on those things, I love a good adventure. I love to laugh. I love to spend time with family and friends, and I love to make a difference, whether that's the coaching that I do, but I also do some volunteer work in the philanthropic arena too, which fills me up. And that's how I'd like to be remembered, as a person who wasn't necessarily following a formula that somebody else put into place, but I was following my own path and being me.
Let them know, Laurie, how they can get in contact with you and who you're looking to serve.
Yes, of course. So my website is Laurie, Laurie, middle initial E, James.com. And I'm also on Instagram, but my website is the best place to find me. And there's links to everything. They can book an inquiry call if they want to learn more about how to work with me. And you can find my book on Amazon. It's titled Sandwich, A Memoir of Holding On and Letting Go, or on Substack at Laurie James.
What a blessing it has been today. London to California. Confessions of a Free Bird. We've had LJ in the place. She Leads, She Sells, and we are out.